Alright, so I just did a video where I had this comic in the background as I was talking. So then I thought, hey, I'll go ahead and read this comic. And I did it to myself again. I read a good comic and now I have to talk about it. Dang it. It's first world problems right there. So anyway, this is Green Arrow number 33. And if you've been reading, or if you've been watching in my videos, or if you've been keeping up with the story, Green Arrow and Aquaman did like a full 180 about midway through this run, because they started out real slow and everybody kind of gave up on it, and then midway through something happened. I don't know if it was a different writer or something, but completely turned around the stories and made them 10 times more interesting. So this is Trial of Two Cities Part 1. We have this cover here. It says Green Arrow with Star City against him. And there on the TV screen we say his murder trial begins. So it's pretty cool. You know, we got him up here. Look at the detail in his suit, the rain on him. Pretty cool. So immediately we start out with what's been happening is people have been cutting down these old trees in this forest and in the city and building complexes. And everybody's trying to, you know, everybody's kind of getting upset about it because they're like these old redwoods and things like that. I mean, old trees. Look how big that tree is compared to the people. And so people are starting to have enough of it because you're destroying nature pretty much. That's what they think. And so what this guy's done, he names himself, he's nicknamed, let's see, Sawmill. I know, right? And it looks like his hand's like an actual chainsaw. And so he's cutting this tree down with a developer in the top of the tree, so when it falls over, it kills him. That's his way of justice. He says, if we can't have this tree, nobody can. So then the Green Arrow shows up and takes him out. But at the same time, he's kind of in conflict with himself because normally he would be behind this guy, you know, but times have changed. You know, he's kind of realized that you just can't be, quote unquote, SJW about everything. You have to make sense. And so it's funny because the detective, one of the detectives actually says SJW in the comic. That lets you know how far this has gotten. But anyway, so the developer's trying to thank him, and he says for the cops to leave him up there for a couple hours. And he says, I can't take this self-righteous guy. And he says, well, I used to feel the same way, but now with the corporate overlords coming down so hard and making the PD into their own private security force, I think we need Green Arrow. You know, it's kind of a hit towards big business without being too much. So then we cut to Moira Queen, which is Oliver Queen's mom, which is believed to be dead. And she's actually working with the Nine Circles, and she's pretty much evil. And basically what they said is your plan didn't work, so we're cutting off funding, and we're coming after you. And she's like, I don't know what to do about that. So then we cut to the part to where Oliver has basically got back into town now. Immediately when he came back to town, he started his superheroing and hasn't had time to really calm down. I mean, he's still got his big beard. I mean, he's looking rough. So now that he's back, one of his friends actually sent him to this new house, and he asked why they weren't coming, and she said, you'll find out. Because she sent him there by himself, you know, to meet his quote-unquote friends, but there's nobody there. And so he sees Dinah. Dinah's looking good. And so look at the detail on his muscle and everything. Look at the detail in her, all that detail. But so she said, you've been gone a long time. Take your shirt off, get a haircut, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I know where this is going. So I can just feel the tension right now with all the SJWs at Marvel. I would guarantee if they read this comic book, they would cringe so hard at these two hetero people right now. And so Diana starts cutting his beard. Look at the detail in the way she's holding. I love the way that they draw his beard. And the way that they do the outlines in them, it's almost 3D modeling, but not. There's enough detail into it that I really like it. So she starts cutting his beard, and she says, you always feel like you have to talk. Don't talk. Just listen. Even when I disagree with you, I believed in you. I know who you are under there, Ollie. Underneath all that hair, underneath that loud, prickly exterior, I know who I am too. And you know, she's been quite the jerk in the past couple of issues. A lot of people have a grief with Dinah. But I think it's important to point out that she now realizes her fault. She realizes what she's been doing wrong. she's been pushing him away because she didn't want to, show her feelings for him. And now she's kind of figured it out. Unlike some of the other people in the Marvel stories right now that continue to ruin hetero couples because the woman has to be this overbearing, mean, cruel, masculine person, and the male has to be feminine. Now we're starting to have the exact opposite. She's starting to realize that that's not working. And then we get this little shot. He says, I've been a dang fool waiting this long to say I love you. And look at her. She's even biting his lip. It's pretty intense. They've shattered the table. Everything goes down. So then we cut to Mount Fuji, not the restaurant, but the place in Japan. And so we've got one of Green Arrow's sidekicks here. She's sitting there resting, meditating. And all of a sudden out comes the ninjas. We gotta have some ninjas. She takes one guy out immediately. I missed that before, but she's like, "Chow!" She wasn't even set up, and she's just like, "Wham!" Got him. So then this pretty intense fight starts out. I like how they did the pictures opposite colors, because then certain other things stand out. Like you're able to tell this from this, and then we're back to this. Now I can see this, and it looks different than this. Look at this shot here. She shoots a guy from behind with a bow and arrow. I've never seen that before. That was very original. I like that. Smashes this guy's head on a rock, goes through the air, takes these dudes out. Then she's standing over all of them, and somebody's clapping. You were always such an effective weapon, Shadow. She used to work for the Ninth Circle, and now she's against them. Look at the detail on this dude. He is scary looking. Whew. So anyway, she says, Dante, you're alive. And he says, so are you for the moment. And basically he tells her that if she doesn't take his new job, which he has, that he's going to send the 50 other ninjas that he has behind the horizon after her. She says, what do you want me to do? And he says, to kill Moira Queen. Ooh. So he wants her to kill Ollie's mother that he thinks is dead. So then we cut to Star Tower, and Moira and her sidekick are sitting there, and he's in a tank right now trying to help his burns. He's been burned by the burn and the Ninth Circle group. And so basically, she gets him out, starts doing acupuncture to help relieve his pain, and then jabs him in the leg because she feels like he's failed her. Look how her face changes to something more grotesque, almost evil. Then we cut back to the district court, and Amiko has broken into the DA's car, of course. I like the way they draw her. She's just got this cool, laid-back feel. And so basically, she's taking her to meet someone. And she says, well, Ollie's back in town. And she says, well, he is. I need to see him immediately. And Amiko says, he's busy. And she says, doing what? Catching up with old friends. And then we get this scene here. Yeah, he's catching up. He's catching up real fast. So then she takes her to the house. And this is one of the guys that's actually involved in the murder trial with Ollie. And she says Oliver Queen can't be charged with the murder of Wendy Poole if Wendy Poole is still alive. The last couple of issues, Amiko and her mother saved her from the burn. Now she's so distraught that she can't even talk, won't go in the dark, won't go by herself. So they've got a long road ahead of themselves. Then we cut to this cool shot here. The horizon of the house where Ollie's at. And he says, thank you. And she says, for what? And he says, for believing in me, for loving me, for everything. And that's something very important that I like to point out about a man and a woman. The man is only strong when the woman is backing him. If the woman won't back him, that is that's the fastest way to pull a man down. He needs the emotional backing of his spouse. He needs that confirmation to help boost his confidence. He says, everything except that one thing you did. And she says, well, it was supposed to hurt. I was like, oh, dang. She said, you saved Gotham. Batman couldn't have saved Gotham in the last couple of issues, 32, without your help. And I think it was 30 or 31, though, that had the best art where he was teamed up with Batman. It says, I just need to get through this trial and then we'll be back on track. It says, you saved my city and I'm going to save yours. But not today. Oh, got something going on. That's bounce wow wow music. So then later on in the day, he is in the cemetery. He's going to visit his headstone, which has been vandalized. And, because everybody thought he was dead the first time. Then he came back, And so he's arguing with the DA about the case, smashes it on the wall. And so then they're sitting there talking. And she pretty much leaves him, she says, I have a son, in a collections agency that calls me 4 times a day. I bet my future on you, and we're going to win this gamble. Queen, we begin practicing for cross-examination tomorrow. He's like, heck yeah. So then he picks up the tomb and smashes it to show his defiance. And someone says, Ollie. He says, I was just going, Kate. Everybody's waiting for me at home. And she says, not everybody. I'm right here, Ollie. Mother, but how? Because, see, she was thought to be dead too. So it's going to be a tough time for him now because that mom's obviously not here for good intentions. So what you guys think? I thought that was a pretty good comic. I mean, it really goes to show you what good writers and artists can do. The toddlers over at Marvel with their crayons couldn't hope to make something like this right now because nobody at Marvel will pay good writers and good artists to do things. They have a couple of good artists that have stayed on, and they give them bad writers to try to beef the book up. And then we have stuff like this right here that doesn't even have that much action, but keeps you on the tip of your seat the whole time with all these things. Look at that. That was cool. I'm not saying it's the best comic, but it's darn sure better than a lot of things that's going on right now. And so I really think you need to check this out. I mean, they had 1 page about politics, and that was it. They don't hammer it home. They just make good comics. So definitely check this out. Green Arrow number 33. It's $2.99. And tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you think about my review of it. Tell me what you think about the book. Tell me what you think about DC and Marvel in general. And maybe some other books I don't know about. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Underground Geek out.